Hi friends, and welcome to Decorate Your Life, Scrapbooking and Card Making. In today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to make a chipboard mini album using several collections from Graphic 45. In this case, I will be focusing on a children's hour, and I'll be using some chipboard pieces that I got at my local crafting store. Now, I love shaped mini albums, and when I found these chipboard pages at my local crafting store, I decided to go ahead and get them because I knew exactly what I wanted to do with them. My mini album tutorial is going to focus on how you can attain the shape of whatever chipboard pages that you are using. There is a technique that you go about in doing this, whether you're using an electronic die cutting machine or a just tracing with pencil or pen. So I hope that you find this tutorial helpful and that it encourages you into trying something different. And please remember to visit me in my blog, where you can view a lot more pictures of this project, plus you can get a full detailed supply list. And of course, I will leave you links to my supply list and my blog in the description area underneath this video. Enjoy the tutorial! Okay, so to make my shaped mini album, what I've done is I got one of these mini album bases from my local craft store, and I believe it consists of 6 chipboard pages. And so what I did was I brought one of the pages to my scanner and I scanned it. And then after I scanned it, I converted the file to an SVG file, and then I ran it through my scan and cut, so that way the sheets that go on top of it would cut in the exact dimensions from this. Now, if you don't have an electronic cutting machine, you can always trace around your shaped chipboard and then trim around it so that you can get the shape. Now, even after I get to glue down the pieces like I have here and here, I still come across some spots in which they're not perfect and they're going to have to be shaved down. Okay, and by shaving down, I mean just basically taking a nail file. I'm using a typical nail file. I think this is from the dollar section, dollar store or Walmart. It's not expensive at all. And so I've taken one of these, and then I just basically start shaving off any of the extra paper that you see around the edge. You may have to go about in doing this a couple of times per chipboard page so that you can get a clean edge throughout your mini album. Okay, and I did do this several times, and you just basically do this up until the point where you're satisfied with how your edge looks like. And after you finish shaving off the little pieces of paper off of your edge, what you're going to do is you're going to take your Graphic 45 ink, and I'm using mine in Photogenic to ink around the edges. And normally I don't do a lot of inking to this part right here. Normally I do mine around the edges, but due to the nature of the mini album project, because there's a lot of shaving and so forth, I am bringing the ink over onto this side to antique it. Okay, that way it covers up any mistakes, not mistakes, but you know, residue from the shaving and so forth and so on. So finish that one up. So what I'm gonna do here now is I'm gonna show you how I glue my pieces. Okay, I have this one last page, and I'm gonna show you how I glue these pieces. Move stuff out of the way so that way you can see just how much glue you're going to have to add. Now the glue that I'm using is this one right here, and normally you don't take your glue all the way to the edge whenever you're making a mini album and adhering the pages, but because of the nature of this project, because I will be shaving off some areas, I do want it to be almost all the way to the edge of the paper. And that is what you're seeing me do right now. I'm going to put a spot there, a spot there, a spot there, and a spot there. And then I am just going to apply a generous amount of glue onto the page or the paper. Okay. Put that there. Alrighty, so here we go. And align your page or your paper as best as you can. It doesn't need to be perfect, because remember, we are going to be shaving some of it off, but the closest that you get it to matching the edge, the less work you're going to have to do. Okay, and so I'm going to turn this around, flip it to the other side, and where is my piece? Oh, here it is, duh. And see how we have some that hangs over. Okay, this one's fine, but this one hangs over some. It's okay, because we're going to shave that off. And so what I need to do now is I need to ensure that my the sides match, meaning this is the top to bottom match. I don't want to put my paper upside down, so it's going to go like so, and we're going to get it as close to our shape as possible. Like so. And it's not perfect, but the shaving and then the inking is going to take care of that. Now, one thing you do want to do is you want to ensure that your paper dries completely. The glue, I mean, dries completely. So I'm going to put this aside. I made these yesterday, so this is what we're going to work with. Put that to the side, and this to the side, and so you just basically start shaving it around the edge of your chipboard piece. And when you come across pieces like these that you know that you can trim off with some scissors, go ahead and do that, because it'll mean less work for you when you're shaving the pieces off. If you like, you can use an X-Acto blade. I'm just using my scissors, and I'm going to trim as much of it as I can. Here's another piece that's hanging. Okay, and here's another piece that's also hanging. And right along here. And see, here's another piece, and I'm going to get that one too. And try not to trim the actual chipboard piece, although I know that these scissors are probably not going to go through the chipboard, but you still want to be careful that you don't. Okay, and here's another piece. All right, so now that we have those pieces taken care of, let's go back to this part. And you can always go back and forth when you're shaving your paper. And see, and stuff is going to come out. Just like that. And of course, you're going to get a lot of shavings over here. Now, when you're done with this, you're going to wind up with a piece like this. Okay. As you can see, I have shaved a lot of this off, and I still maintained the shape of the mini album. Okay. And make sure that you clean off all that paper dust. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our ink and we're going to start inking around the edges. Just like that. And this is what you have afterwards. Okay, so now that my pages are ready, I am ready to use my crocodile and punch a hole through this, and I think I'm just going to do a one ring binding system. I think these will look, this mini album will look really cute if I instead of having two rings here, just have one ring up here on top so that I could just turn each page. And because I wanted to do a mini album in this shade of blue, I did use several different Graphic 45 paper collections to achieve this. As you can see, these are almost exact shades of that same intense blue, and I'm really loving that. And see, this is what this one looks like. And so what I want to do then is I want to take some sheets from the Graphic 45 Children's Hour 8x8 paper collection, and I'm going to use some of these sheets with that very intense orange and red and dark tones, because I think that these look exceptionally well against this blue background. And so yeah, that's what I'm fixing to do here, and I will be using some of the Graphic 45 chipboard pieces from this collection, and I believe I'm also going to use maybe one or two of these from the this right here. It is from the Children's Hour collection as well, and so yeah, let me